wrestling to go over there and hear that bunch of whatever it is they have to say. I don't care to listen to it. I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to take care of this business just the best way that I possibly can, and that's to be fair to all citizens who come into my city.
The Ku Klux Klan, they get together, then they're just adding fuel to the fire. As long as they leave everybody alone and just let them go their own way, live where they want to, well then that's fine.
Sir, could we get a word with you right now? Take us to start. What is your purpose in being here today?
Go Oakland! Move for your people! Move for your people right now! In Jesus' name! In Jesus' name!
Jesus! And some kind of form of health care. Please don't what they wanted to do. They can suck up some.
You come on down here and we'll show you what's up, huh? Because a black person want to move in water, huh?
I tell you what, y'all move over here and see what happens.
These people are ignorant. Do you see the stupidity? Children, mere children being raised in this narrow-minded society.
But the Negro is a lazy race.
They're going to start stealing. They're going to start robberies.
Hey, my skin may be a little brown, and his may be a little white, but if I cut myself and he cut his, we still gonna bleed the same kind of blood.
Now, you ain't moving.
I have a bunch of black friends, you know, and I don't think they're any different from me, you know, and they're just as good as I am, and you know, I believe that everybody should have equal opportunity.
If a black person want to move in Biden right now today, them Klan people should not have a damn thing to say about it.
So, to the white people, this is our land, our country, and we are claiming it back in the Golden Triangle for white America.
I can't say that I'm really against colored people, but the way that they tear things up and the dope and the drugs and things that come with them, you know, that's what makes it bad.
No, we're just, hopefully they know how to read and they can see what this is, you know, that there are people here in Orange County that believe that people should be together and that equal rights are something that everyone should have.
That's what it's all about.
It all started a couple of months ago after housing authorities announced 4 black families would move into a Vidor public housing complex. Everyone seems to have an opinion about the federal desegregation order. The mayor supports it. The Ku Klux Klan is protesting it. Even nationally known talk show host Phil Donahue is getting in on the action. But one group has remained quiet until now.
That we believe that the only solution to whatever strife and problems we have is Jesus Christ and His Word.
The Vidor Ministerial Alliance is made up of ministers from Vidor's churches. The group has been careful not to make a political statement about what's going on in the city, but members believe it's time to take some positive steps to counteract all the negative publicity. They're planning a praise and prayer rally, and they're sending out a message that outsiders have caused a lot of the problems inside their community.
That we believe that Jesus has the answer, and He was accepting of everybody. That all people are created equal in God's sight, and that we believe that we're open and willing to accept anybody that wants to move into our community.
The praise rally will be held here in the parking lot of the Walmart store on Main Street. Ministers are hoping it will be filled with members of their congregation giving praise to God and showing other Southeast Texans they live by the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. In Vidor, Grace Trahan, Channel 6 News.
Nothing ever took place.
Ross Dennis questions the sincerity of area housing authority officials who say they're working to integrate this all-white Vidor housing complex. He says that because of something the Orange County Housing Authority director told him long before anyone knew about the desegregation plans. Ross Dennis is the president of the Residents' Council. During a meeting with the director, Dick Stanfield, in the summer of '91, Dennis says the director outlined a plan to get around the federal desegregation law.
Plans were to, quote, slide 2 black families in, satisfy the Young versus Kemp lawsuit, and then slide them back out so things could go back to normal.
Dennis says he's now talking about this statement in part because the Housing Authority has not delivered on promises to help the Residents' Council. And Dennis also cites a string of irregularities that have become commonplace at the complex, including retribution against residents the director doesn't like. Dennis also points to the firing of Albert Harrison, the desegregation coordinator who appeared on the Phil Donahue show, as another strange event. Harrison claimed to have families ready and willing to move into the complex. County Judge John McDonald says the county is moving towards the integration the federal law requires, but he says the last meeting produced no one to move into the complex.
The question was raised as to who the families were that Mr. Harrison said he had ready to move in over there, and at that time the answer was, we have no names or addresses of any families who have volunteered to move into Vidor.
McDonald says no one has contacted his office about making the move, but the judge says he'll look into the claims of Ross Dennis. Dennis expects the housing complex will find a reason to evict him.
I know I've got First Amendment rights, but I've made some pretty serious allegations too. But I've also got proof.
In Vidor, Tom Wright, Channel 6 News.
I count myself as a witness.
But are you glad that they're stepping in?
I feel like they need to step in everywhere, but I am glad that they did step in because there's a lot of things that could happen. I wasn't here Saturday when all that transpired, and I didn't really know what happened till I read it. The police will stop and they'll talk to some of the guys, so I guess they know some of them personally or whatever, but I don't know if it's helping or not. I couldn't really tell you.
Does it make
and then we'll explain the responsibilities of each one of us in turn.
With the move thing?
No, emergency medical services.
And they hurt.
Not to have competition between each other. Our main goal is to help the people of the city of Vidor.
And I want to thank everybody for... There's a lot of us in this audience, windows shut, put air conditions in, and I guess the last 10 years has kind of faded away. They have to start a recall on the mayor of Biden. They don't want good Christian white people to stand up for their race on their property, handing out literature, or doing business.
One of your relatives who's a police officer. I'm telling you, your Bible tells you to try.
Blacks should be able to live in Vidor. Everybody's saying they shouldn't be here. Well, who's they? You know, they're no disease. They should be here.
So you think that they'll come over here and corrupt the housing project here?
First few months, I don't think they will, but I imagine it'll escalate. And if that doesn't do it, once they get in, you'll have a bunch of the white people around here. Those were just an example that would start stuff.
But this city will not.
$. Now I'm being told all wells are not paying. All wells would pay the city and schools and fix roads. Did you get all this? When taxes go up, I can see lots of ways that you can operate the city without raising taxes. Here's a few of my things. Cut some of your own expenses. Stop paying the expense.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the after effect of it. Would it carry over into the school on Monday? Or how long this would linger in our community? Yes, I have some concern about it.
Last year made big news when the plan was announced. We want to ensure everyone's safety. We want to ensure that the rally goes over without incident.
Vidor is trying to really change its image, and the mayor has expressed herself as being very upset over what is happening. And I think you need to play it low key, otherwise you might have some chaos on September the 19th.
This is what we had hoped all along, that they would come in just as any citizen comes in every day that we have moving into our city, that would move into our city. That would be it.
Their only concern basically is their children. Them being adults, they have no real fear of this entire situation. Their total attitude on this is it's time for a change, and they're willing to sacrifice themselves to make this change.
Probably out touch.
They can get a conference out
They'll hear, and we can move the media to the topics of community concern, which will include the City Council of West Orange.
I hear about the planned rally and want to hear what you all...
Okay. They are not needed in their town. I'll come back from the days of segregation. When we were segregated in the South, we did not, so hopefully we can persuade the minorities not to come.
This is the place the Ku Klux Klan plans to hold a rally, the lawn of the county courthouse. County officials say the way is clear for the assembly. The county and city do not require any permitting or approval of public assemblies, a right guaranteed by the Constitution's Bill of Rights.
I don't believe that it would be necessary to make any special provisions. I will go ahead and discuss it with the county commissioners one-on-one basis to see their feelings of it. I haven't had that.
Judge McDonald says many groups have used the courthouse lawn to rally and assemble, and county officials plan to treat the Klan rally like all the rest. The group is free to use the area as long as it cleans it up. But Klan rallies and marches have turned violent in other cities. The Orange City Police will provide security.
We want to ensure everyone's safety. We want to ensure that the rally goes over without incident if all possible, make sure there's no traffic congestion, just make sure it's a safe event and that everyone's rights are protected and everyone has their freedoms and has it safely.
The chief says his department, along with the Sheriff's Department and the Department of Public Safety, will evaluate what they need to keep the peace. Chief Kittrell says he doesn't expect trouble, but his department will be prepared for anything that happens. The big unanswered question is, how many people will turn out for the rally, to participate or to watch? The answer will come when the Klan gathers at this Southeast Texas courthouse. In Orange, Tom Wright, Channel 6 News.
Vider doesn't need angry voices in the street, and that I wish the Klan weren't coming, but if they come, I would consider it a moral victory if nobody showed up. I mean, I think it'd be, or if in other words, if the only people there were from out of town.
Students at West Orange Stark High School are demonstrating how to have fun in the midst of confusion. Most don't understand why the Ku Klux Klan would come all the way from Waco to Orange, Texas to march against blacks or other minorities living in predominantly white neighborhoods.
I think they're asking their parents and their peers and everybody else why that we're having this, why people have to act this way.
I don't see why they did it. You know, people should be able to live where they want to live. You know, that's basically what I think.
Do you think the kids would be paying attention to what was going on with the Klan if it weren't for this activity day?
Yeah, I think they would. I think they would have got themselves in trouble and went out there.
I wanted to go find out what it was like, but I knew it would be trouble, so I just came to this to try to stay out of trouble.
To avoid possible trouble, hundreds of students played baseball, volleyball, basketball, and other games. The West Orange Sports Fest was hastily organized by the principal, who says his last-minute decision got lots of community support.
Oh, it's been tremendous from the community, as far away as Bridge City, the contribution of gifts, food, drinks, everything to make this a successful event.
Most of the kids here say the big payoff is that students are learning to live with one another and work out any differences in sportsmanship or race. In Orange, Darlene Dorsey, Channel 6 News.
Come on out here. Oh, that's a home run, huh?
That what was happening there obviously is one of the reasons why we chose this area first. But we were planning to have the workshops even before throughout the 36 county area. But that is one reason why we chose this area first, because we think there's some things that need to be done here as quickly as possible. tell you the truth, it's been quite a while. She gets her attitudes, and that's what made me go back to the streets.
For more than a year, the proposed desegregation of this Viter housing complex has caused a split among the people who live here and the rest of the city.
I have nothing against them moving in if they want to move in, you know, that's fine. I mean, I don't know why everybody has a problem with them moving in.
You just can't answer problem by making a law and legislating laws.
Yesterday, 59-year-old John DeQueer of Beaumont became the first black person to move into the complex. The Orange County Housing Director says DeQueer is disabled and is a diabetic. The director says all DeQueer wants is a place to call his own. According to reports, DeQueer reacted to his move by saying, quote, "I never thought about being a pioneer, just needed a place to live." Viter police have beefed up their patrols at the housing complex, and today Viter officers had a law enforcement meeting at that complex. Police Chief Butch Reynolds said it had nothing to do with the desegregation, it was just coincidental. Some of Mr. DeQueer's neighbors say they're not so much concerned about a black resident moving into their neighborhood as they are about the retaliation they fear could happen from some of Viter's residents who they say have grown up in an all-white community and don't want to see the desegregation.
I would not take this white one here and put her in the Magnolia Gardens because the blacks would pick on her, just like they're going to pick on the blacks out here.
I don't have nothing against white people. You know, they've never done nothing. You know, you got good and bad in any race. It don't matter, you know. But, you know, I don't see why they want to bring somebody out here knowing they're not welcome.
As of late this afternoon, DeQueer has not moved in. The housing director said DeQueer is having his car fixed. But with all the media attention and Ku Klux Klan rallies scheduled this weekend in Orange and Viter, it might not be a surprise if DeQueer waits a few days before he takes the final step and officially moves in. In Viter, John Gratifiore, Channel 6 News.
Somebody's coming because they had a story about 3 weeks ago.
I know about. I'm not an attorney. Unethical maybe, but this plan was different.
That decision was based on what the
Council members that were present at that meeting and other witnesses will be more than happy to testify before any investigative committee, grand jury, or court of law under oath that the statement was made exactly as presented. I've got other complaints against Richard Stanfield. I don't know if he's a federal employee or a county employee, but I know his actions affect the residents.
Well, our main client is not the Klan or any of these other groups, but is the United States Constitution, and every citizen benefits.
I had the slightest idea this was always going to go on. No, I just signed the sheet, put them some place to stay. And I don't know, I didn't know too much about that. I worked with a few people, but I didn't even know they had a housing project over here.
Have people reached their hands out to help you? Oh, yeah. Tell me about
They're criminals, and yet you are one also.
Ex-criminal. I paid my debt to society. When I was in prison,
I, William Jefferson Clinton, do solemnly swear.
Traditional family values, that was the phrase that paid during the political year. But do we really want to return to that traditional or patriarchal society, rooted deep in human history? It's where the father had the power of life and death over his family. Author and therapist John Bradshaw says
I need somewhere peace, quiet, just need somewhere to stay or something.
have competition between each other. Our main goal is to help the people of the city of Vidor. And I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We formed the White Committee at nights to keep us clean, to deal with problems right here in our own backyard. What they basically want me to do is turn in evidence against myself and other members so they can sit back and determine whether to file criminal charges, which is a violation of our constitutional rights.
You can believe whatever you want to believe under our Constitution. You may associate with whomever you want to associate under our Constitution, but you can't be involved in threats, you can't be involved in intimidating, you can't be involved in acts of violence directed against minorities.
They feel like they've done nothing wrong. They've done what the HUD people have requested them to do, and that they were perfectly within their legal rights not to resign.
Site for a playground that is to be, right? I don't think it exists.
Okay, understand that we were waiting on funds in college classes that are trying to get an education.
Yeah.
Do the elderly have any problem?
You have something you want to say to us that we need to know as we're thinking about?
Well, I think they do need to put blacks out here. Maybe they're straighten some of these prejudiced people out.
It makes me feel uneasy because Housing Authority hasn't raised a finger to do anything. City police haven't done anything.
National Street.
Yes, ma'am.
I just can't understand why the people around here can't wake up and see that this is the 90s and things are going to change whether they want it to or not.
Prosecution, both openly.
Things changed at the Vidor housing complex the day this man moved in as part of a federal desegregation order.
And I'm scared. I can't sleep at night. I get nervous.
Last month, this woman, her children, and another family from Baton Rouge moved into the Vidor complex. But they only called this place home for about 2 weeks.
So I wish there was some way that we can make sure that every black resident that comes out here is thoroughly told what's going on out here, what's happened in the past. That way it'll give them a choice to decide whether or not this is the right place that they do want to move to and raise their children.
The head of the Commission on Human Rights says there is a way to warn potential residents about racist activities in Vidor and programs to help them cope. Bill Hale says families should be thoroughly briefed. He says counseling, transportation, and educational services are also available. The Commission is working with city leaders and law enforcement agents to protect the residents and catch the people who harass them. The Orange County Housing Director says he did brief the families before they moved in here. He said he told them that this was a unique situation, that it used to be an all-white complex and that it had just recently been desegregated. Richard Stanfield says he feels secure about moving black families in here and still does. He says it has security lighting, a security fence, and a 24-hour patrol.
It's not safe out here for anyone.
Some residents aren't convinced that housing officials are doing their best to bring harmony to this neighborhood. But housing authorities say they're committed to making this a safe place for everyone to live, regardless of race. Inviter Molly Fay, Channel 6 News.
It does not disturb me that Mr. Lee is no longer in jail if he's released. My interest is a civil action.